Hi, everybody. Jonathan Scott with On Air Education. Thanks for tuning in. In 2019, I was invited to start teaching broadcasting at Desert Pines High School. And my first question to the students was, what do you know about broadcasting? What do you want to be? Do you want to be in front of the camera? Do you want to be behind the microphone, knowing full well they all did? And the first thing that I said to them is, I'm going to say this over and over and over, is that it's not about me. It's not about my guests. It's about you, the audience. Because if you don't have an audience, you may as well go for coffee or go have cocktails with a friend. And then what we did is we took our students and we brought them over to Lotus Broadcasting and put the students actually on the air and said, now what do you want to talk about? And the second lesson is about preparation. And we realized that in 2020, when the pandemic started and hit, that distance learning was going to be a challenge for students and for teachers alike. So the other thing that we noticed is that teaching history is different than teaching science, and teaching music is different than teaching art. So we've invited different entertainers paired with different teachers to talk about the particular discipline that they teach and the tools that they use to engage both the parents and the students during this time of distance learning and also blended learning. Today our guest is Mr. Jordan Madagame. Madagame. I got it wrong again. Jordan is the vocal choral music director at Del Sol Academy of the Performing Arts. Jordan serves as a Southern Zone representative and publicity chairperson on the NMEA Executive Board. What's that stand for?
Nevada Music Educators Association.
I love acronyms.
Yeah.
Jordan also serves on the Clark County School District Suggested Pacing Guide High School Choir Committee and is the artistic director for the Keep the Music Alive organization. What does that do?
So it's an organization that facilitates music programs in our community, and we try to do fundraisers and raise money so that way every couple months we can donate money to art and music programs in public schools.
So obviously our show today is about music, and we've also invited a performer. April Diamond is a national top 20s Billboard charting recording artist, host of Live with April Diamond, and celebrating the whole month of April. It's her month. And talk about what you do a little bit, if you would.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for having me today. I do a lot of things, and it's super cool that we're here with this guy because I grew up singing in choirs in church,
Nice.
and my latest single, I Got the Music in Me, has a show choir on it, so you and I need to chat.
Sure.
But I am indeed a Billboard charting recording artist. I am a host on social media, Live with April Diamond, which has been going on. It was actually a reinvention of something to do during the pandemic when we couldn't go and make videos and tour and perform. So I started interviewing my friends and people that I know that are really amazing people that do incredible things in the world. And I just felt like it was time to go on there and just talking to my friends, having coffee with them. I'm like, let's get on, social media and tell people who you are. So Live with April Diamond is about the people that are amazing. And I love to highlight them and also some adventures and things that I do. And also in the month of April, 30 Days of April, this is my month. Every year I do a web series and I'm here talking to you. So you're one of my special days of 30 Days of April because it kicks off here in Las Vegas. So
yeah, well, it's great that you work with kids, and I did watch your music video, and I saw that you had the choreographers come out there, and you were teaching the kids the steps, and I think it's just fabulous. And it is about engagement, and teaching music is obviously different than teaching math or science or history or English. So, what do you do in a short description to engage your students using distance learning?
Well, I think we have to address, first of all, that before I engage them in any type of lesson, we have to engage them, period. So making the kids feel that they're heard, that they're seen, and just reaching out to their families, letting them know that we are a resource, we are here to help them. And just that piece alone will get their attention because already they know now that you care about them. And then, of course, now we've kind of adjusted to online programs and different apps that we can use for the kids to have fun, but also learn music.
I have to thank our sponsor, which I usually do in the beginning, which is Nevada State College. If you don't know about Nevada State College, certainly Google them, check them out because they're growing and it's a great facility here in Nevada. A little bit more about our guest. Jordan attended the American Institute of Musical Studies Opera Summer Program. Is opera alive with the younger kids?
I was introduced to opera by one of my voice teachers who recently actually just passed away from COVID-19. And
Oh,
yeah, but he's here in spirit with us, and he's here in my heart. But he introduced me to classical music, and ever since then, I took an interest to it, and that's how I got into the American Institute of Musical Studies.
you're a baritone.
I am a
right?
baritone, yes.
Awesome.
So you received an international music certificate in voice, German, and art song poetry.
Yeah.
What's art song poetry? Give me an example.
So art song poetry would just be like talking about the text of an art song. So if you take a song by, oh gosh, trying to think
Beatles.
here. Well, that's pop or whatever. But
Oh.
I'm talking about like classical composers, you know.
Okay.
So you take the text of that and you kind of dissect it a little bit. So what's the dramatic intent of a certain chord in a song, or how does the text relate to a certain phrase or a certain musical notion in a song? And it's kind of a dissection of the text of the
Oh, that's
poetry of the
interesting.
yeah. It's really cool. So it opens up your mind a little bit to how you actually view music and how you actually can teach it.
My dear friend Clint Holmes did an interview, and I heard him explaining how he dissects songs to get to the actual meaning of the song. And what was interesting was he talked about the Leonard Cohen song Hallelujah, which I thought was a praise, kind of a spiritual song. But if you listen to the words, it's really a song that he's singing to his father, and it has nothing at all to do with spirituality or that. So dissecting a song, I think, from a learning standpoint, and the interpretation of the song, like you got the music in you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can go on forever about that, but the interpretation of that song is something that I've always long felt about music, and that is everybody's got music in them somehow. And I, like you, am classically trained, and I, grew up singing in a gospel choir, and then went to college and got hit in the face with classical, and I was like, I'm going to do what now? Because I had never really been exposed to classical training. So that was like, oh, okay, there's that. But I Got the Music in Me is something that I think is like an anthem. I hope it becomes something where people jump on board and they remember from back in the day where Kiki D first, made the hit famous. And I hope a new generation of kids jumps on it and realizes that they have the music in them. And I hope that inspires them to continue, with the distance learning to still sing and to create that space at home where they practice. And I hope people jump on it and feel a part of it, because I Got the Music in Me to be about everybody.
Well, I'm Jonathan Scott, and you're watching On Air Education. We're going to take a short break. More with April and Jordan right after these really quick messages.
Whoever you are, you're one of us. Whatever you want, we'll get you there. If you're not like anyone else, you're just what we're looking for. It's time to enroll in your future. Nevada State College.
Welcome to the Great American Pub, a great place to hang out with your friends, watch a game, and enjoy some great pub food. Our kitchen is open 24/7 with our full menu. Try some of our signature dishes like lobster mac and cheese or clam chowder. Join us at the Great American Pub and enjoy happy hour specials. Grab a drink and enjoy great pub food from all over the country right here in Las Vegas. The Great American Pub with 2 great locations, 215 in Eastern and Flamingo in 215.
And welcome back. I'm Jonathan Scott. You're watching On Air Education. Our guests are April Diamond and from Del Sol Academy of the Performing Arts, Mr. Jordan Madagame. I told him I'm going to, but Madagame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
got
got
it.
it. You got it.
right
You
this
got it.
time.
You got it.
Jordan was recently awarded New Music Educator of the Year for the entire state of Nevada.
Yeah. That was crazy. It was just so unexpected. And of course I was emotional. I was a wreck. So,
Right.
because
Right.
you put your heart and soul into teaching, and then when you get acknowledged for it, and especially if it's a state award, I mean, it's insane to me.
Well,
But I'm so grateful and humbled,
Well, so that was from the Nevada National Association of Music Educators and Nevada Music Educators Association.
Yes.
Talk about your school. It's a performing arts magnet school.
Mhm.
What makes something different than the other schools?
So just like any other magnet school, each magnet school in CCSD, they specialize in a certain topic or material. So at our school, it's performing arts. So students can major in stuff like vocal music, band, orchestra, mariachi, dance, theater, tech theater, cinematic arts, costume design. And what makes it special is that the kids get an intensive instruction of performing arts of an hour and a half of performing arts every single day. Some of them even get 3 hours of performing arts because they have me twice in their schedule. So they'll have me for an hour and a half here and an hour and a half here. And so compared to other schools, they might only have choir every other day or every day for only 40 minutes. So that's kind of the special thing about our school.
So our topic, just to stay on point, is engagement.
Yes.
And that's why we say nobody knows more about engaging an audience than an entertainer or a performer. So April, what can you share with our teacher as far as engaging an audience that you've learned throughout your career?
Wow, there's a lot to say about
It's a big
that.
question, I
It's
know.
a big question. There's a lot, but I grew up singing in choirs, so I understand what the learning process is, and I understand where the intimidation factor and the hindrances are for kids. So that whole idea of, establishing really good audition type standards and making them sort of step up and do something that really scares them. And a lot of kids are like, I don't think I can do that. Like putting them through that process gets them ready for the real world in the business. Teaches them to really, hone in their skills and to really perfect them and bring their best to the table. And you know what? Sometimes they come to auditions and they probably fall apart and panic. And the director's like, the directors at this level for the kids, it's forgiving because in the big music business, it's not. So it's a great place to learn.
Definitely.
It's a great place for them to gain, a sense of self and confidence. And that's where I came from.
Now you have a We Are One concert. Can you
Yes.
talk about that a little bit and describe what it is and when it is and where it is?
Right, exactly. So I'm a spokesperson and creator along with David Longoria, my producer. You probably know David Longoria. He wrote a song called We Are One, and we created a nonprofit organization called We Are One Concerts because the song talks about how if we all work together and help each other, we can stamp out racism and we can get rid of bullying and we can teach the kids to all connect and learn to love each other for who we are. Yes. All colors, all sizes, whatever. We're all the same. We all just want to be great people. And so We Are One Concerts, we were about to have one in Burbank, our very first one at the John Burroughs High School Show Choir program, and they were going to allow us to do one there, and COVID hit. But so We Are One Concerts is ramping up again, and we're going to go around to all the major cities in the U.S., bringing choirs from all the major places, like all the schools, have them perform with us in a concert where they get to sing with other recording artists. So we make the kids the stars. And they learn to sing We Are One with us.
Awesome.
We talked about Billboard before, and you talked about top 20. Are you, and in particular, Billboard has it like this is pop or this is R&B? What category?
Right, this is dance. So my very first Billboard hit was the Lose Control, and it went to number 27 on the dance chart. And it's still to this day getting club play. The Billboard charts things are still kind of quiet on that front in the moment, but they're ramping up slowly. But so hopefully there'll be more coming, from that. And hopefully we'll be hearing the next one.
Yeah, well, I hope we do. So Jordan, in engagement and using distance learning, I've noticed that you use social media to a degree as well. Besides, the challenge that you have is with the Canvas program. So
right.
How much time do you spend extra preparing using distance learning?
Well, I think I can speak for a lot of teachers when I say this. We can't have a job that is strictly from 7:30 to 2 and then clock out. I mean, my brain is always turning. So in terms of adjusting to these new programs, it's kind of just like, you kind of just have to dive in and hope, I mean, it's like jumping in a pool. You don't know if it's going to be cold, if it's going to be hot. You just got to jump in. And then once you're in, you get used to the water,
Yeah.
So I kind of told the kids that too. I'm like, it's going to be scary. It's going to be weird and unknown kind of, but you just got to get in there and you just got to figure it out.
I'm going to go through your list a little bit here, and
Sure.
you can stop me at any time.
Okay.
You've got a class website, MrMadagame.com, Madagame.
Yeah.
You've got a collaboration site, DSA Vocal. Spirit Days?
Oh yeah. So that DSA Vocals our handle for our Instagram and social media
And
but,
newsletters?
But we post everything on there. All of our events that we do, Spirit Days with the kids. We do, different projects with other schools, college spotlights, all that stuff.
And you've got virtual collaboration?
We're doing a project right now where we're collaborating with different middle schools in CCSD and different high schools. And once it's all edited together, we're going to be singing a song. So it shows that even through hard times like COVID and all this stuff, we can still make music and come together as a community.
So if other schools and other students are welcome, why don't you give that website out?
Sure. So I've sent it out to usually, all the music teachers I've had their emails I sent to them. But if they go to bit.ly/musicdsa, or you can go to mrmadagame.com. You'll find some more information about some of the projects that we're doing and also some of the auditions that we're holding for our school.
Auditions are the scariest.
Yeah. Our late auditions are still open, by the way. So.
And you're watching On Air Education. My name is Jonathan Scott. You can certainly drop me a note at info@onaireducation.com. We're going to take another quick commercial break and come back more with April and Jordan. You're watching On Air Education. Stay right where you are.
In a changing world, it's time to change how we look at college. That's why Nevada State College provides excellence with affordability, a campus with diversity, and programs that offer opportunity. Nevada State College. Be bold, be great, be state.
Welcome to the Great American Pub, a great place to hang out with your friends, watch a game, and enjoy some great pub food. Our kitchen is open 24/7 with our full menu. Try some of our signature dishes like lobster mac and cheese or clam chowder. Join us at the Great American Pub and enjoy happy hour specials. Grab a drink and enjoy great pub food from all over the country right here in Las Vegas. The Great American Pub with 2 great locations, 215 in Eastern and Flamingo in 215.
Ain't got no trouble in my life, no foolish dreams to make me cry. I'm never frightened or worried, I know I'll always get by. I heat up, I cool down. When something gets in my way, I go round it. Don't let life get me down. Gonna take it the way that I found it. I got the music in me. Ooh, I got the music in me. Yeah, I got the music in me. I got the music in me. I got the music in me. Ooh, oh yeah, I got the music in me. I got the music in me. Oh yeah, I got the music in me. I got the music in me. Yeah, I got the music in me. I got the music in me.
And welcome back. Jonathan Scott for On Air Education with April Diamond and Jordan, whose last name I'm not going to butcher. From Del Sol. I got to get that right, too. Academy of the Performing Arts here in Clark County. And thank you to everybody at Clark County Education Association for helping us out with providing us with great teachers like Jordan. And you seem so passionate about what you're doing with the students, which I think is just fabulous. So to stay on point with engaging your parents and engaging your students, what else are you doing on a daily basis?
Well, let me just say this too. Family engagement, this is from one of my professors that I used to have. Family engagement is not an add-on. Family engagement is something we do every single day as teachers, whether it's connecting with a student, asking how their day is, making families and students feel like they have a place to go or they have someone to talk to or someone they know that cares about their kid is like the best way. I know I kind of said that earlier, but it's the best way to get them engaged because they automatically tune in when they know you care, So something that I do is I constantly send out, I sometimes do this thing called Motivational Mondays, where instead of calling a parent and telling them, oh, your student is doing this and this and this in class and I'm really disappointed, I call parents and say, hey, are you the parent of so-and-so? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I just want to let you know they're doing really well. And they've gotten A's on all their assignments and they're expecting this bad news. They're like, okay, you're buttering us up here with all this good news. And then I'm like, that's it. I just wanted to call and let you know. And that's one of the things that I do to engage my parents too at my school. So
I think it's great that you stay so involved and you're so passionate about what you're doing. And April, traveling around the country and putting these choir groups together. I was especially fascinated when I watched your video, and because I watched the making of it. Also, I watched part one and part two. Part two showed actually, the production of the making of the video. I guess the question is, during the pandemic and what we've been going through, how challenging has it been for you as an entertainer to not have a live audience, and as a teacher, because I see these Zoom kind of performances, and I've never produced any of those, but I know that timing them together so it all fits has got to take hours to do this.
Yeah, just you mean the interview process, just interviewing?
No, when you actually pick a song, like we talk about a song, and you're the first soprano and you're the baritone. How do you time it together so it matches up, and you're doing the same song?
The show choirs, or the choirs doing the Zoom and singing together.
Right. I mean, if you don't mind, I mean, I'll just add one small tiny thing is we do click track. So the kids, I do part tracks. I'll play the piano for them, and while it's playing, it's like. So they're listening it to in their ear, but we can't hear it, and they're singing. And then when we edit it all together, everyone's kind of in sync on the same time. And,
the kids have to send in their individual parts. So what it is they go to class on Zoom and they practice their part, right? Whatever their individual part is. The teacher, Mr. Jennings, he's great at this. He sends them whatever their part is and goes over it on the piano. So they also have a click track that they have to sing it to and send it in. So it's really up to the choir's kids themselves to be on it and follow directions exactly. So they have to work really hard to be spot on.
Do you find that any of your students or any of your kids are serious about a career in music? And the second part of that question is, how do you feel the music business has changed? I mean, I see TikTok, and you have 34,000 plus followers on Instagram. I mean, do the kids want to be TikTok stars? Do they? I mean, there's TikTok millionaires now that are 15 years old. How's the music business changed is really the question that I'm getting at.
I think it's changing constantly. I think it's changing daily with just the evolution of social media and different things catching on, because people are watching the kids, and kids are watching their friends, and what are their friends watching? So it's kind of it's a little bit jumping around. There's a lot of things that are still going the way that they used to go. Then there's a whole new generation of, I think, even independent artists that are creating their own followings in their own machine and doing things like stage it and other things to go online and perform, and people buy the concert ticket there online and watch the show online. So it's evolving as we speak.
And I'll add one small thing to that. I always try to tell my kids too, you guys can't depend on that,
That's true.
It's great that social media is expanding our networking and our connections, but you need to remember that it takes a lot more than one video to become this person if you want to be famous or if you want to, do this professionally.
I think what it is you have to study, okay? And I've got my vocal performance degree, and I was always in choir as a kid, and I learned, in church, listening to the gospel choirs and hearing those big voices, and I was inspired. And I tried to sing loud, and I tried to yell and do a lot of what people do, because I'm also a voice coach. That's something else that I train power singers. I have a power singer training that I'm about to release, and you have to study. You have to do the work. And I think a lot of people look at the industry and go, oh, look at that powerful singer. If I just yell really loud, I'll get it. And this, you're a choir director.
Yes.
You have to study. You're a classically trained person, so you get it. It takes years to develop. The voice develops over time. So.
And I also tell my kids too, I'm like, you can't just expect to sing pop music and then the longevity of your voice is not there. It's not going to survive.
It's not going to survive.
So you got to get that classical training or some kind of training that at least is a foundation so that you can have a healthy voice and,
You and I should talk about that on Live with April Diamond. That's a very important point.
I would love
you
to.
And I need to spend some time.
Have you, through the years or through your teaching, found a star? Somebody that you think, well, this kid has got it.
Totally.
And what do you do with that kid with relation to the other kids?
Well, I mean, I think when the friends see their other friends being exceptional, they jump on board and go, how did she do that?
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that really want to devote themselves to the practice will jump on board and say, okay, I need to go study. There were a couple of kids that went to New York City, and I can't think of the name of the award in New York City where all the choirs compete, and a few of the kids get selected to go to the Jerry Herman Awards. Have you heard of those?
Jerry Herman is a Broadway producer.
Yes. So there's a Jerry Herman Award. I believe that's the name of it. And a very few select kids are get to go to New York, to go to Broadway, and to get to audition, like a handful of them from every choir in the nation.
Oh, cool.
So 2 of them, and there were a couple of them were the kids that studied with me at one time, and they got to be on like they were on the big screens there in New York City, and they were there, and it was huge. And Ben Platt and some of the really big
nice.
Musical theater performers were there, watching, giving these kids advice, watching them perform, and judging their performances and that kind of thing. It was amazing. Called the Jerry Herman Awards.
I try to keep those students who are often excelling in performance or singing, try to treat them the same, because it's not, something that we don't want to make their, get a big head and all that stuff. But, we can definitely nudge them in the right direction,
Everyone's unique. Everyone
Totally.
needs to study, but everyone is unique, and everyone's got their own special thing. And
Right.
you can use other people in terms of inspiration, but you are who you are.
Several friends that I've spoken with, performers, equate it with being an Olympic star. Putting an hour and a half on stage and pacing yourself and your breathing. It's like running a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
in closing remarks, how do you keep students and parents engaged with distance learning?
I know I said this before, but I have to say it again. They have to know that you care about them, which I do, genuinely. And they have to know that when they're sending their child to you, that you are going to be taking full responsibility for not only their education, but I mean for their well-being while they're in your hands. So I think that is the number one thing that all teachers should remember, is that you will not engage your students and you will not engage your parents unless they know that you care.
Jordan Madagame.
Sure.
I got it right. Then, if you want to reach out to Jordan, his website is Mr. Madagame, MADAGAME.com. April, closing remarks.
Yes. So follow me on social media, on Instagram at April Diamond Music, and 30 Days of April. I have on YouTube channel, April Diamond Official. And to all the kids out there, and to people that, I want to be a star, I want to do this, I feel that passion. Start studying, get involved in your choirs.
Yes.
Build a village of people that love you and care about you, want to see you succeed. And the ones that don't. The ones that love you, stick with those. Your director, he knows what you should be doing. He or she, whoever is directing your choirs, lean on them and let them inspire you and direct you in the right direction. And find some superstars that you admire and, practice to their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, practice every day.
Website again is aprildiamondmusic.com. My name is Jonathan Scott. I want to thank Nevada State College and Clark County Education Association. You can still reach me at info@onaireducation.com. Be safe, be happy, eat well, and party hard, my friends.
Ooh, I got the music in me. Ooh, I got the music in me. They say that life is a circle, but that ain't the way that I found it. I'm gonna move in a straight line, keeping my feet firmly on the ground. I heat up, I cool down. I got words in my head, so I say them. Don't